of September. It's been a crazy long week. Bitcoin and the rest of crypto was going up like crazy. Barely had any rest this week. But today, of course, markets are down quite a bit. It's a big bloodbath. If you actually just look at it, it's mostly in the red. And I was like, starting this episode, I was just wondering, what sort of thumbnail should I put up for this? Should I be happy about thumbnail? But that doesn't really reflect the situation where everyone's feeling. So I had to have like the saddest looking thumbnail on this video. But in actual fact, I feel like I'm quite relieved that we do have such a pullback, because it gives us an opportunity to first of all, relax a little bit, because when everything's going crazy, you don't have time to take a break. And second of all, the opportunity to buy something. I mean, who wants to buy when everything is up like 20x, right? So it's actually time for me to actually strategically look and make some strategic plays here. So in that respect, I'm actually quite, relieved that everything's going on. So a bit tired though, obviously. I think for the past few days, you probably know me. I was like really out of it because there's just so much stuff going on. We'll talk a little bit about some of those adventures, including a few too many yield farms. I think more than 20 yield farms popped over the weekend. A lot of them turned out to be scams, as expected. But because the initial yield was so high, people were just going into them anyways. It's just a situation, I hate to say this, right? A situation where most people were thinking, do you want to be right or do you want to make money, right? That's the worst part about crypto throughout most of this week, where the mentality it's like, it doesn't really matter if it's wrong, so long as we make money, right? And that's never a good situation to be in, because at the end of the day, you still want to have something valuable. That's a scary part, right? You still want to make something valuable. You still don't want developers to scam. You still want them to have a plan to make something crazy. But anyways, we'll take a look at the entire narrative of this week. There's a lot to go through. We'll answer a lot of questions that you guys have. We'll have questions like, is kimchi a scam? I think people use a scam too much. I mean, in crypto, I feel like the overarching feeling is that it's something, it's legit or scam, right? What about in between? And most projects lie in that middle area in between. There's a lot of unknowns about a certain project. It's including kimchi, there was a bunch more. There was like Harvest. There was like, I can't even name them. Hotdog swap. That was a complete disaster. There's Bacon swap now. There are just a million projects that were launched with yield farming in mind. And the problem, of course, is that most of these developers just rush to launch these, and they have no real purpose other than being a funny meme. You kind of have to blame Sushiswap for doing so, because Sushiswap launched with both a meme, a way to farm, and a kind of novel, cool idea, but the idea hasn't actually been realized. The scary part about Sushiswap, that's kind of the narrative, was that because it caught a lot of attention, it got listed immediately on Binance and FTX, and this created a lot of hype and FOMO. So everyone's kind of chasing the next Sushiswap, which is kind of the big problem throughout this week. Everyone was looking for the next kind of big thing. Sushiswap, we were lucky, right? Initially, there were some concerns over mining it. After 6-7 hours, I mined it after realizing that the migrator contract was under a time lock. So that was a long story. I was warning people about it because there was a potential for funds to be migrated. A lot of people were warning about that, and then realizing, okay, look, it's under a 48-hour time lock. They have a safety there. And then afterwards, Sushi got a lot of attention. The price rose from 7 cents to $7. And then from $7 to $12, we're talking about that. So that narrative became very, very strong. People were looking for the next Sushiswap, obviously. But, everything else that came along, history very rarely repeats itself in this case. So a lot of copycats came about. You got your kimchis, you got your Unos, you got your everything's, right? Like there's so many I even forgot. But they can't really deliver as much value, which is why the prices just kept dropping. And yeah, we'll take a look at that. We'll talk about a little bit about impermanent loss. We'll talk about what I'm looking out for during this bear market, and we'll answer some questions as well. But yeah, basically this week was super busy. I'm actually pretty happy, because that means if it ends up like this, that means we got a break in the market. Look out for what I want to buy, and then I have the weekend off, right? Which means like very unlikely that there'll be any projects trying to hype themselves up right now when everyone is a little bit scared. So, you know, I'm actually quite relieved to say the least, because man, this week was just way too busy. I was just like, most nights I was like up until 4. That's why I don't really sleep very well this week. You know, certain projects were launching at late night. Harvest was one of them. You guys probably saw me up. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back to sleep. And then I'm like, 2 hours later, everyone finds me chatting on Telegram. I'm like, it's just too much. It's too much. Cryptogram says, no, he said the words bear market. Well, we're taking a pullback. I don't think we're actually entering a bear market. I think the bull market hasn't even begun. I feel like super bullish for everything in the long run, because a lot of people saw the power of DeFi for the first time. I think a lot of people, 2019, people were talking about the word DeFi, and no one really knew what it meant, right? No one knew what products we can build. And then all of a sudden this week, everyone started realizing, well, not this week, but a few weeks back, as people started realizing, okay, the power of decentralized finance. As a matter of fact, you know, for the very first time, I start collateralizing my ETH to generate DAI and use that DAI to go yield farming. I also crossed the REN bridge from using Bitcoin and using that my own Bitcoin. I crossed the REN bridge to convert that to Ethereum based Bitcoin into REN Bitcoin. All of these things are super powerful tools. Now we've got cross-chain wrapped assets, decentralized exchanges via Uniswap. It is super, super powerful. So a lot of people use it for the first time, but then of course that kind of got overshadowed by just the number of pure yield farms out there. The message got mixed, and I'm really glad that at least we can start focusing back on what's valuable, and that's kind of the way it is. And then CryptoDuck says, time to accumulate. I'm going to spend a bit of time accumulating. I think I kind of expect maybe this pullback to be 1 or 2 days at the very least. We're kind of always preparing for something like this, where we do meet a pullback and be mentally prepared for it. So very clearly, I am mentally prepared for everything that's going on here. It is hard. I think reading through the comments, I see some form of panic somehow, and I think like in making the thumbnail for this, I mean, the fact that we have already 500 people watching this goes to show people are concerned. Right? People are concerned. They click that thumbnail with the unhappy face. They want to find out what's going on, like where it's going to go. And there will be turbulent times. And I think we'll answer a lot of these questions in this live stream. Obviously, everything is here. It's not financial advice. Been doing, you know, these videos for such a long time. It's very much of a personal experience about what's going on. So you guys at least know what I'm thinking and to kind of just understand what's happening with me, but not really financial advice, not your financial advisor at the very least. So just keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, and let me just talk a little bit about everything that's going on, housekeeping before we start. So first of all, we got Bitcoin out of the box. It is my podcast, and we are updating up to a new episode very soon. We got quite a lot of new content on this prepared, but the uploading process was a little bit too long this week, so I couldn't really upload it this week. So apologies to you guys. But Bitcoin out of the box, it is my podcast. It gets a lot of this content that you guys watch here, but it's on podcast form. And you know what? I actually kind of feel like it's most appropriate. A lot of these interviews are a little bit longer, and they give a lot of insight. I mean, we were talking about like Serum, DeFi. We talked to Sam, like we talked to CZ, we talked to Bobby of CoinGecko, we talked to Jeff TrustSwap. So many kind of things that we're talking about now, they were given a preview. That they were like, we were ahead of our times at the other interviews. So check out those podcasts. More content coming soon, and I have some really cool lineup. We got Don Song from Oasis Labs. We got more content coming. I actually just finished a video with people were asking about Player and the VeChain ecosystem, and we have a special guest in that interview too. So that will be also come up on Bitcoin out of the box. So the best way to check it out is via this link, or it's on podcasts. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. So just search Bitcoin out of box. You're good to go. You are golden. And also, of course, this week, let me just check my videos. I'm actually surprised that this week went by so fast. The last video we had was 3 days ago, actually 2 days ago. So we had 2 live streams this week, but it's kind of crazy. I felt like I could produce a lot more content this week, but this week flew by. Yesterday night, I was like at 3 a.m. I was like, is today Thursday or is it Friday? I don't know. I felt like I lost the entire day this week. Like, it just felt like this time just flew past me. It's like, I guess I'm super busy, of course, but I'm just trying to wonder what I did each day. It just felt like a blur because there's so many yield farming projects. So it both felt like a year, a decade, because things came and gone already. But at the same time, I just felt like it was a giant time waster in terms of productivity. Like, whilst farming was very fun, yeah, and I made money there, it felt like I didn't produce much. I don't know. Anyways, that's my take. Anyways, guys, let's talk a little bit about the markets and what is going on. So first of all, on the markets, I love this one. This is the bloodbath indicator. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. Yes, we have a minor bloodbath. We have Bitcoin almost touching 10,000 again. We also have Ethereum dropping below 400. Interesting. We have the only one that's green is Tron. I'll talk a little bit about Tron later. It was kind of a hilarious incident. Obviously, the stable coins are still stable. That's why you can only see the greens there. But everything, most coins, the larger coins. I'm just gonna refresh this for a sec. Most of the larger coins, they kind of lost 10-12%, but once you go down the list, once you're below the top 10s, you'll see losses where it's up to 20%. So that's pretty savage. So we got UMA, that's quite a strong pullback, 26%. And a lot of this is because, of course, the rally over the past few days was insane. So this is really a minor blip in the long term of what's going on. But I definitely feel like there's a lot of people who will be very scared of this because they'll just be looking at this list and be like, oh my God, Ample for 40% down, Sushi down 40%. Oh my God. This is kind of hilarious because like, I was telling a story about a friend who bought sushi at $7. He bought 1,000 Ethereum worth of sushi at $7. It went up to 11. He sold it, made a lot of profit, but now it just tanked all the way down. So savage. But we also have Ren down, DeFi money down. So like a lot of these coins that recently had a very big rally. I mean, if you remember, sushi was nothing, right? There was no sushi like a week ago. Let's just remember all these things. Sushi came out of nowhere, right? And then Ampleforth also had a huge rally. It rallied up to $2. So these pullbacks are kind of normal. If you guys have to think about it, there are people taking profits. Profit taking is pretty clear. And also, with the fear in the market as well. So there is a fear that's bleeding over from the stock market. The stock market also took a dip today. So we kind of see that like that correlation factor. Fear spreads no matter what. And that's kind of interesting as well if you actually take a look at it, because at the end of the day, people are having a hard time classifying where all these cryptocurrencies are. Whilst Bitcoin, yes, it's more similar to digital gold, a proof store of value, but there's also a lot of tech elements in blockchain, which is why people kind of associate it mentally with technology. So this is why, yet again, there could be this correlation. And I think a lot of people are too early to say that we have broken that correlation with the traditional markets. Not yet. Not quite. You just can't use that 1 day of data or 3 months of data to say, yeah, no, we're not correlated anymore. There could be that correlation still because, yet again, people kind of associate things to be the same. This is why when crypto drops, everything drops, right? This is, even though at the end of the day, a lot of these projects that do their own stuff. I mean, DeFi, does it really have much to do with Bitcoin? Not really anymore. Bitcoin doesn't really want to do much decentralized finance. It is decentralized finance in the sense that it is finance. I mean, you can send cryptocurrency, you can send Bitcoin around the world, but it's not running an exchange on top of Bitcoin. You can't really do, stable coin exchange on top of Bitcoin. The use cases are very different, but yet again, we still always have that relation with everything. So anyways, that's kind of my take on it. There is overall fear in this current market, whether it is in the stock market or whether it's in crypto, and that's kind of bleeding into each other. So that's kind of the way it is. Tekken says, just gonna ignore super chat box money. I'm trying to see as much. Tekken, thank you so much for your super chats. Tekken really likes Tron. He says Tron DeFi yield farming is popping. Would like to start a great project like Pearl on Corn. We'll take a look at Tron. I mean, everything is kind of crazy. Apologies for not reading all the super chat and stuff. It's been a pretty long day. I've been trying to cater to as much as possible, but at the same time, because there's so many requests, I just can't get all of them. So apologies beforehand. Thank you so much for your donation, by the way. So anyways, so we got CZMEB says 749 peeps. Nice. Let's smash up those likes, guys. Do it, guys. Let's smash up those like 750. Let's smash those like to at least 200. Come on, guys. Let's do it. So anyways, that's the narrative going forward. There's definitely a lot of bloodbaths on the markets right now. That's pretty expected. We even got Chainlink pulling back. Oh my God, Zeus Capital can finally make a little bit of money, hopefully. But yeah, so we're pulling back. We're looking at all this discounts here. Like for now, like I'm actually just looking at discounts pretty much. Whether or not I'll touch Ampleforth, probably not for now. But I'm just looking at this list. Actually, Ren looks pretty tasty at this point. Even Balancer too. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I can look at. But yeah, that's pretty much the case. It's kind of interesting also on the flip side. So we're looking at this is sorted by growths in the past 24 hours. So Tron is the one that's holding the candle up. So yeah, and a lot of the reason behind that is because Tron is starting the DeFi push. So it's kind of interesting. Long story cut short, my history with Tron has always been, and I don't like it, mostly because it was just a copycat of other projects. And you're playing against the house, which is a little bit more scary as well, because we know Justin holds a lot of Tron coins. So it's like he can dictate where the market goes. But anyways, because there's yield farming, because there's stuff going on there, I finally said I'll bury the hatchet. It felt very sad. Like I posted this tweet up, just saying, you know what, I'm just going to explore Tron. And then like it went crazy. Like people loved it for some reason. Yeah, this was a tweet. 500 something likes on I can't believe this, you win. But I installed a Tron wallet to check out what's going on. Yeah, it felt really sad in a way as well. It really goes back yet again to the topic of, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? There was stuff happening, so I can't ignore it. And to a sense where I have to bury emotions, right? Emotionally, I don't like, don't like is a strong word, but I felt like with Tron, they copy pasted a lot of stuff. This idea of plagiarism, I'm very against it. And also on top of that, because Tron was largely owned by Justin Sun, yeah, I didn't feel like touching it for a longest time, but I felt like now if they're doing something, I'll take a look, right? So yes, I did go and mine some Pearl just to take what's going on. And, it's interesting. It's interesting. It feels very bad because it feels dirty and wrong in a way. Right. And there are some things that still are wrong in my mind. I just love this. I just want to bring this to your attention. So I posted a message about installing the Tron wallet. And then we got Sergina Betromotos is literally the scammiest crypto project, unfollowed. And then Dizzy J says Tron, it's actually the best public blockchain available. Sergina says I agree. I stand corrected. I'm now a Tron holder. Let's go. Moon, 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 moon. Rocket, rocket. And then the last one is like just a reply. I mean, this is some show, but yes, after serious research, I now see I was wrong. It is clear to me that Justin Sung is the greatest and the honest leader. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. This is like a scripted drama that's happening on my channel. It's so funny. I was just like, come on, guys. Come on, marketing team of Tron. You guys got to make a better story. You know, you got to have some romance or, you know, something exciting there just to spice it up a bit. You know, you guys can't just get straight to the message. You know, 3 seconds later, yes, it's the best project in the world. Justin Sun, so great. Number one. Crypto, I love you guys. I love you guys in crypto, man. But come on. Like, that is the worst story writing / narration in the world. But anyways, let's take it one step at a time. Let's take it one step at a time, guys. But I think what's something interesting of, obviously, just speaking on the note of Tron, Ethereum was obviously very broken this week. I had so many angry messages at me because I was talking about yield farming. And gas prices went up like crazy, largely attributed to yield farmers taking advantage of so many yield farms. So throughout most of this week, right, we got gas prices above 400 Gwei, which meant that sending transactions, just a simple ERC 20 transaction could cost $10, coupled with some really insane interactions of if you're staking a contract, if you're trading on Uniswap, it will cost $30. Then that's obvious congestion on the Ethereum network. That is beyond obvious. Yeah, it's just insane. It's crazy. I've literally spent, I think, $5,000 to $6,000 on Ethereum this week. I made a mistake before because what I did was I separated my mining accounts or my yield farming accounts. So I literally had like 12, 13 MetaMask accounts that are all yield farming. But something I realized that with so many accounts meant you have a lot of interactions, right? So every account was interacting with Ethereum and burning gas and just burning my wallet away. So I had to do a little bit of consolidation over this week. That's why maybe I haven't produced that much content. It was pretty painful to do that much consolidation and just consolidate that, still yield farming, but yet again, it was expensive. And that's the thing where, because Ethereum is so congested at this current point, scaling solutions are extremely necessary. Now, it could come in two ways. So Ethereum, we recently Scale had a sale and there's ZK rollups. There's Ethereum 2.0. There's a lot of ways to try to scale what's going on with Ethereum. The way with how it works, just very briefly explain to you guys, is that Ethereum can only process a certain number of transactions per second. And that transaction per second cannot cater for this entire crypto population. Even though crypto population right now is like 0.01% or maybe less, especially people can afford Ethereum transactions, it still cannot cater for that. So it really needs a way to scale beyond what's happening. So very interestingly enough, we're talking about all these scaling solutions. That's why a lot of other blockchains are also trying to take advantage of this and say, look, why don't you move to our blockchain, which is much, much less congested. So we have Tron coming out to say that, but also not just Tron, but also we have Elrond also deploying stuff. We also have Algorand deploying stuff. We have so many different blockchains. Even Binance Smart Chain launched this week. So Binance Smart Chain also Ethereum EVM compatible. A lot of these things are getting launched this week to try to steal some of Ethereum's thunder. So we're actually going to look at that dynamic as well throughout this week. So anyways, that's kind of the take on here. Obviously, if you move away from Ethereum, there's going to be a lot less congestion. But something that's also quite interesting is that Ethereum is where all the rich kids are. I think like that's the most blunt and honest way of putting it. Every project wants to get on Ethereum because that's where the action is. So even though a lot of networks are way less congested, you still have to face the fact that Ethereum is where a lot of people made their money. right? Look at all the yield farmers. Look at YFI1, for example, YFI, right? I'm gonna call it YFI1 because it's just the way it rolls. But I was giving this as an example because this coin was distributed over a week. It's literally $895 million in market cap. So this $895 million, it was distributed in one single week for free to anyone who was mining YFI, including yours truly. I mean, I talked about it very, very early on. I was very early on into that pool. And yeah, I sold it a little bit too early. That's my bad. But I still made a lot of money out of it, right? It was just insane. It just brought me to a whole new level, right? Obviously, the market is always chasing the next YFI. A lot of people made money on Sushiswap and everything that happened afterwards. But the reason why Ethereum is so congested right now is because of that kind of attachment, that community there. So interesting. Okay, so let's see. Tekken is also be like, yo, Pearl icon. I'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah, it's kind of interesting where yield farming is going because just on the note of yield farming and finishing that up with yield farming is that something that we noticed that with all the yield farms is that we're all trying to chase the high. So I'll point out the big scam that happened this week as well. It was with Hotdog. So this is one of the biggest dangers. So this was Hotdog swap. And it had a price of around $5,000. So it was like 5,000 growing. People were farming. People are supposedly happy. And then bam, within this very, very short amount of time, prices just dropped to $1. And then after this, it just dropped to cents, right? This is actually really dangerous for yield farmers because yield farmers, if you're in pool, so what happens with these is that now because scammers are starting to understand how it's played, it's becoming dangerous because it'll act on people's greed. So let me go and figure out what okay, so this was the website. So it really acts on people's greed. Reason being is because there are these high return pools that are like Hotdog/ETH. And the issue here is that you're holding Hotdog. So imagine if you bought some Hotdog, all right, and you bought some Hotdog at 5,000. Let's see, or maybe something like 5,000 here. You bought some Hotdog. You bought one Hotdog at 5,000, and you pair that with ETH. So when you add it to a liquidity pool, you also add $5,000 worth of Ethereum onto it. So very, very interesting because now you have a pair. You spent over $10,000, and then if this kind of giant red needle happens, your Hotdog, obviously you're holding Hotdog, that drops. So now Hotdog is almost worthless. But also that's something that's also kind of scary is that because it's paired with ETH in a liquidity pool, your ETH is literally used to buy this dip. So while it's dipping, you're continuously buying Hotdog. All right. So by the time it dips here, you'll be less, your $10,000, you'll be left with virtually like $10. Like it'll be gone. It's like one of the scariest scams that can happen in this space. And this is what we're talking about, impermanent loss for the longest period of time. So luckily for me, I didn't touch Hotdog. Super, super lucky. In fact, I was taking a nap at that time, which is kind of funny. A lot of people are like, oh my God, do you see what happened with Hotdog? I'm like, oh, thank God. It's like I was taking a nap. But also throughout these few days, I've also avoided impermanent loss pool. So any pool that requires the deposit of the coin itself, I'm avoiding that, and that's the only way to kind of fight this. If you're in a pool that just literally you don't have to have any exposure to Hotdog, then you as a farmer, you probably made it off fine. But if you have a pool that has exposure to Hotdog, so you're exposed to Hotdog, then you're going to take a huge amount of impermanent loss. And that's kind of the biggest risks associated to yield farming. There's two risks. So one is impermanent loss, which is basically one of the assets going down from like 5,000 to $1. I mean, that type of dip is insane, right? But also the second type of risk is if the staking contracts are not secure, they can take your coins. So this is actually very different. Like a lot of people are talking about yield farming. It's very similar to mining. I mean, mining had this day when you have a farm, you can start pushing that farm and farm different coins, and those coins can be very speculative. It's called spec mining, right? So there was a lot of analogies here, but the issue here is that when you're mining, no one can take your computer away unless they physically take it away. But in crypto, when it comes to yield farming, yes, if there is a backdoor written in any of these contracts, then any malicious developer can steal that. So that's where it gets quite dangerous. So yeah, again, so this week we saw kind of the too much action in the yield farming space, and there's too many scams in the yield farming space, which is one of the reasons why I got so busy as well. I just like try to look at everything, asking around, okay, understanding the SUSHI contract, everything was like based on SUSHI, and then what are the risks associated with it. There's a lot of risks associated with the SUSHI contract. There's a migrator clause in there, and if that migrator clause is not under time lock, you are screwed. So there was a lot of research that was necessary before anything can happen. If you look at the code for SUSHI, because SUSHI got so popular, everyone copied it, but there is one important clause in there. Even if they copy it one for one and there's minimal changes, you had to watch out for this migrator clause, or the migrator address rather. The migrator address, if it's not under time lock, you are screwed. So anyways, I cannot stress that enough. So anyways, yeah. We got Julian Frost says, at Box Money, what do you think of the Solana proposal for Sushiswap? I think it's something that Sam always had in mind. I mean, Sushiswap is very much based on an idea that Sam had. He wrote some, or maybe not, maybe it's not, maybe it's like at the same time, but Sam from FTX wrote an article about projects he wanted to see in this space. And there was a project called Dumplings. And Dumplings had this idea of having basically Uniswap plus a token. So it's like there was a lot of analogies between Dumplings and Sushiswap. So if they're working close together, if SUSHI is close to with FTX, then maybe very likely it will go on Solana. Who knows, right? There's a lot about talk about Shroom. Look, I can't look at every thing. I definitely did not see Shroom. I just pretty much woke up. With so much activity there, I'm actually very concerned about it. So let's have a break on talking about Shroom. We'll get to it. But at this point, because there's so many comments about Shroom, yeah, it's like I will be very careful. Like usually that's the case with me. The more people ask me to do something, the more I'm like, why? Huh? What price did you get it in at? Huh? Why are you shilling so hard? Huh? Anyways, that's just me. I'm gonna stop being a douchebag right now. So that's kind of the case I see. Like when there's a lot of activity requesting something, that's when I actually get scared. Yeah. Shroom up finances forked on my gaming yet again. Just be careful, guys. Be careful. It's kind of funny. I just watched a video yesterday of Ivan drinking water. That was great. Made my day. Let's see for Shroom. Let me actually just take a quick look before. All right, Yearn.finance. All right, so yeah, it's not a yield farm. Just be very careful about that, guys. You know, you can see large numbers, but yet again, this is where, like, and it's also up like, all right, 140. It's not that bad. I'm not gonna shit on it. I'm not gonna shit on it yet. I'm not gonna shit on it. It might not be that bad, but just be very, very careful, guys, because with all these things, like every time I look at something new, you know, call me stupid, call me dumb. I always spend a lot of time researching the contract before I do anything. I think like I think a lot of people this week were saying, you know, put money first before research, and I just don't want to lose anything. I think like you're so tempted to be a total degenerate, but you never want to be a total degenerate. You want to be at least safe. Like if you see insane upside, sure, but you must make sure that you have small downside, right? So anyways, I'm not super degenerate. I'm not going to be, and I think that's the case with me, right? Like I played it mostly safe, like 2017, I probably could have got into a lot more ICOs. I was pretty against ICOs for most of 2017 until one of my friends were like, oh, let's do it. Okay, fine, I'll join you. So I could have been a lot more aggressive and probably made a lot more money in 2017. But at the same time, I could have lost a lot of money too. And it's about controlling how aggressive you want to be. It's kind of funny because a lot of people called me a degenerate as well. I think there's a lot of degenerate behavior. I mean, I was in yETH very, very early on, and there was still a lot of risks back then, especially also with impermanent loss. At that time, I didn't fully understand it. Now I do, which is great. But it's all about taking risks, right? And you can say that I am like the most degenerate out of the kind of the stable jobs guys. Like but also I'm the least degenerate of the gamblers, if you could say that. It's kind of interesting if you just imagine that. But there's a lot of people who have extreme tolerance for risk in crypto, and they do extremely well too if they're seasoned in this space. But at the same time, for me, it's just like I'm playing a little bit safer. I still always look at the contracts. I think that's still the best way to do it. It does take time and it's extremely stressful because you always want to rush in. It's always about controlling that emotion. And for me, that was a struggle for most of this week. So anyways, Freewell says, you fucking degenerate. Lol, 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 lol. But anyways, that's the kind of the case. CZMV is control your feelings, control the hype, avoid the FUD, be smart and do the research. And it's hard. It's hard. But yeah, it's stable degenerate is like, I think cautiously aggressive. This is for normal colors. I think that's the way to do it. I think at least for me, at least for now. I mean, I have, like I said, I have some fully degenerate friends that just bought like 1,000 ETH worth of sushi at $7 and then cashed it out at 11 and made 500 ETH profit in a day, right? I have some totally degenerate whale friends up there that probably made it very, very big on Bitcoin or during 2017 where they can afford to do this. But I think I always have to remember that a lot of people, they have a huge net worth to begin with in the first place. So it's like, how do you balance that out and how do you move forward? So anyways, all right, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so now a little bit about the whole Tron side. I find this kind of interesting. So I did look. So a lot of people were asking me, okay, look, what happened to Tron, blah, blah, blah. I did look at Pearl. So with Pearl, it's essentially just a copycat version of all the other yield farms out there. And in fact, they have a whole ecosystem for this, right? So they have, on Tron, they have an entire like clone of what's happening on Ethereum, right? So JustSwap is like your Uniswap. Pearl is kind of like, I guess what's like the first one? It's like kind of your Yam, I guess. It's almost like Yam. That was kind of the way I said it. Like you deposit, you get some pearls. So there's a lot of equivalents. So right now, it does seem to be going well. I think something that's interesting about this is the regionality of it too, right? So yield farming got very popular in the West, right? Starting with yETH. A lot of people were like dissing it, saying it's valueless, it has nothing. I mean, look at it now. It's been building so much stuff. There's insurance, there's vaults, there's like more and more stuff being added to it, right? So yETH was the first success case. A lot of people missed out. And then we have Sushiswap. Yet again, it's another, kind of huge project that was given out to yield farms. So all of a sudden now, because that got popular in the West, that's now being brought over. So I guess in many senses, if you look at Kimchi, it targeted a lot of the Korean audience, right? So Kimchi, there was actually a Korean talk section about it. And Korea, like, they didn't really follow crypto that much. They didn't really get DeFi that much. If you actually talk to a lot of my Korean friends, they're like, DeFi, it's a scam. It's okay. It's going to pass. They completely missed out on yETH. They completely did that. And then they see all the people getting rich, the rich, the degen chads getting rich. they're like, oh, maybe we should do our own. So I guess that's kind of why Kinchi took off the way it did. I mean, it didn't even have a proper domain, right? But anyways, and also on the Tron side of things as well. Now, the whole idea of yield farming is now brought to China, and there's people who are talking about like yield farming as a service now. And it's kind of crazy, like just people helping each other yield farm. It started a whole genre. So in that sense, I mean, that's kind of where the Tron activity comes in, right? Tron has a base in China. Now they're all interested. And that's why it's kind of like, I guess, worth looking at. It still feels wrong and dirty in a way. And I think I addressed that at the start of the video. I don't know. I don't want to endorse anything at this current point. But at the same time, like, it's much more friendly, I guess, in terms of the cost associated with it. So the way I felt with the Tron side, with Pearl side, was that I was using it to store USDT. So if I had USDT on an exchange, like say I'm trading, and I don't need to use that USDT, then I'll just move it onto Pearl and I'll just get a little bit of reward. So it's around, like I calculated yesterday, it was between 500 and 600% APY on stored USDT. And it's actually higher than a lot of the yield farms in everywhere else. But in Ethereum, and the most important part, obviously, is that it doesn't cost anything to interact with the contract, right? So that was kind of the reason. It's a little bit of the reasoning behind it, is because with Tron, you deposit and you get bandwidth and blah, 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 etc. I'll cover it in a later if you guys are actually interested in it. So anyways, that's kind of the take about what's happening going on. In terms of what I'm still yield farming, I'm farming YFV. So YFV, just some updates on yield farming. So the seed pool APY has dropped to around 144%. So seed pool doesn't have impermanent loss. So this was the pool that I was kind of into for a long time, just storing my USDT there. But I did move some of that from YFV to Pearl. So that's kind of the trend, because yet again, it has higher yield. I mean, as a farmer, yield is yield, right? And I also get to cash out the Pearl faster because it costs less to cash out Pearl. It's a little bit easier there. So YFE, I'm still farming with BAT and REN. And so that's kind of the two main ones here. I'm also in the staking pool V2 just to get a few of the VUSD and VETH tokens. So I'm in this one still. Yeah, I'm in these two. People talking about Harvest. Harvest was a funny story because, yet again, it was one thing that I stayed very late up at night to research. And then I decided, you know what? I threw a little bit of my base inside because I just felt like this was just a small amount. It didn't really matter. And then the next day, I tried farming with USDT. The story with Harvest is that the yields just dropped completely. It started off with $5,000 for a farm, which is great. So I sold that very, very early on. I felt, $5,000 probably not sustainable. So I sold it all the way down to $2,000. And then now, because farm is at such a low price, I also moved my USDT out. I'm still farming with base a little bit, but the yields are slower. I'm not going to sell now at this current point. I'm just going to see if it plays out to be something legit or not. Yet again, it's too early to say right now. There has been a few concerns being addressed of where the USDT goes. So this is the biggest problem. If you deposit USDT here, this actually gets deployed into various strategies to farm and supposedly make money. But I've actually spent some time tracking with some of my friends where this goes, right? And that's absurdly complicated. So just be very careful about that. That's something I actually did avoid for the time being and just being safer. Like right now, just the rewards don't justify putting any funds there. It was extremely expensive pulling it out. I started off with a little bit of USDT here, and after 6 hours, I was like, this doesn't seem right. The rewards just did not justify that risk. So I pulled that out, and it did cost me roughly around $250 to pull out of here. Just be careful. It's very expensive to interact with these smart contracts, especially if it's already harvesting. So just be very, very careful about that. You will be expected to pay a huge amount of gas fees. So yeah, that's just the way it is. I was also mining Pylon this weekend. So I guess that's where all my time went. Instead of making YouTube videos and content, just been farming like a madman. So Pylon's like a StarCraft themed one. Kind of interesting with Pylon is that one of the pools got destroyed, so that's where the value of Pylon increased. So I was in wETH. I'm actually currently in WBTC and in YA Link. So those are the two pools I'm in. Yet again, this is for your reference, not a recommendation, of course. This is just telling you guys what I am doing. Obviously, a lot. Obviously, a lot of time was put into this. Yeah, I guess it's worth it, but man, it feels like the least productive to use my time. I constantly feel like I want to produce content, and you have something to show for it. You're like, oh, I produced content. I used this time. I created something, right? Like, that's what I feel is cool, right? I wrote an article, I created something, I did something. But like just yield farming, it's just like, okay, you made some money, right? Obviously, you got like maybe like 2 or 3 Pylon here and there, but you're like, oh my god, it just felt like so empty. Anyways, that's farmer struggles. All right, I'm gonna stop bitching about that. It's like farmer struggles. We got Angela saying over 1,000 watching, but yeah, that's kind of the summary of all the pools I'm in. YFII I took out as well. I think the yield is a little bit low right now. So I was in YFII previously. I probably will go back later, but you know, it's only around 200%. It's actually not, I guess it's not too bad. 200 is not bad. I mean, considering that YFE is only 100 for coin deposits. But anyways, and YF Link, the farming has stopped. So everyone's talking about YF Link. YF Link, I just market bought actually. They're actually doing a lot, and then I FOMO'd into it because one of the pools that was meant to be open did not open. So in that respect, yeah, I just bought into it. Why not? They're actually building a lot of stuff, and they're launching YF Swap very soon. So I feel like that's kind of also like almost, it combines Thorchain and elements from Thorchain and elements from Hakka Black Hole Swap. So that's very, very interesting. And I still haven't tried out Black Hole Swap yet. So anyways, a lot of people are asking me about different ones. I think I'll be honest today, I probably will not look at anything more. It just felt like too much. I needed a break. I did not take a break this week. Like just looking at it and spending, I guess because I'm spending so much time looking at everything as well and understanding from the contract side of what's going on. Yeah, it just wasn't worth my time. So, you know, take it as you wish. I'm probably going to stop looking at stuff for now. We also got Victoria Palme's OIN launch. OIN launch was so crazy yesterday. I was watching that too. We're talking about it in the channel. So I was on a call when it launched, right? So when it launched, I was on a call. I was like still calling people. I'm like, oh my god, OIN is launching. I gotta watch this. And I was looking to pick it up at around 0.55. Someone was like telling me about the dip, right? And then we saw the dip happening. I FOMO'd in around, I think it's around 65 cents ish, and then shot up yet last night. So it's pretty crazy. Lots of trade action happening with OIN there, and now it needs to discover its price right now. So that's in the price discovery phase. A few people warned me about fake OINs that went up. So the strategy here is that whenever a coin is released, just check CoinGecko. Like Gecko is becoming the strongest one, and something that you can do is you can always see the contract here, and you can just click this button to copy it. And so if you ever go to Uniswap or whatnot, then you can swap it there. Yesterday I actually did not use Uniswap, so you can just do that. You can you can paste the address into it, and you actually find the right OIN, because there are so many fake OINs out there. Just be very, very careful of that. Like there's so many fake, like crypto is filled with scams trying to scam anyone that is dumb enough to to listen to other people, right? You have to do your own research. Just don't listen to other people. Do your own research. Go check CoinGecko. This should be second nature by now, right? If you're in crypto and you don't do this, like, just get out of crypto. Honestly, like just leave, because you're gonna lose so much money here. It's not funny. Like, if you don't do your proper research, if someone privately messages you and say, yo, I got some cheap OIN, you want to buy it, and you actually send cryptocurrency to that address, like, please don't be in crypto. Like that's core. I'm sorry, but crypto is savage like that. There are so many scammers out there. I can't help you all. And I don't see any point constantly raising awareness for this. This is a battle that I feel like the only way to solve this battle is for people who are dumb enough to fall for this to just leave. Sorry. Like, crypto, too many genius scams out there. You got to be at least, over 100 IQ to play. Sorry. So we got rug pull life and stuff. There's just too many scams. Too many scams out there. It's just ridiculous. Michael uses get the F out. Savage life. So true. DL, it's like, say so true. It's because the problem with crypto is that right now at this current point, it's extremely unfriendly to newbies. There's no way to really reverse the transaction. So, like, if you don't think very clearly for yourself, you are going to lose that crypto. And there's no way you can like there's so many people that contact me, and I'm like, at first I felt sorry for them. Now I feel nothing. Like, there's so many people who are like, oh, I sent cryptocurrency to this wrong address. How much you sent? Oh, 100K. Like, seriously? I mean, I had people who lost $1 million try to contact me, and I'm like, what can I do? I'm like, I don't know, contact authorities, call the FBI. I don't know, man. But I mean, clearly if you lost $1 million, you have the money to find this, but contact authorities. But there's no way on the blockchain to reverse it. But yeah. We got Randy Lee says, IQ 70, yo, farming will do. Oh yeah, Angela Wang is like, the worst is when people send money to fake box money and then go to real box money to complain. That is the absolute worst. I'm gonna rant about that for 2 minutes or 1 minute. But there's so many fake box monies. At the period. So in 2017, I actually hired Hacken to destroy fake box minings, right? So they actually did a really good job. They found like 50 fake box minings per day. Right, and we were just savagely destroying them, like just crushing those accounts, fake box money, screw you. But the problem is they just kept popping up. They just kept popping up, doing more and more, and I don't know how to stop them. Like, sure, we can stop them on day one, but like, it's extremely costly to a point where I'm like, okay, you know what? Unfortunately, I have to just say, look, you can't kill scammers forever. The only way to kill scammers is for people who are dumb enough to fall for scammers to leave. And the worst part is like this, right? Yeah, the worst part is like they send money to fake box mining. They're like, oh, we sent 5K to fake box mining. I'm like, okay, but how did you find the real box mining? Like, they messaged the real box mining and they sent a screenshot of like box mining 01x2, right? And the worst part is like, maybe like they put the name at box mining in their bio, and people assume that's my username, but they somehow manage to find a real one. I'm like, before you sent the money, shouldn't you have checked this? I mean, if you already know how to find the real box mining, right? Why don't you find me before you get scammed? Anyways, that just makes me angry. It's like, just, and it's like most of them are scammy ICO. So, I'm just like, you know what? It's fine. But when people like on this channel get scammed, I feel bad, right? Like, a lot of people don't know that there's so many tricks. They don't know that we can change a profile pic, etc., and start scamming people. So guys, be careful, be careful, be careful. All right, so pretty much that's it for this episode, guys. Not too much on the news, I'll be honest with you guys. News is pretty much irrelevant right now. It almost feels like, oh my God, it's raining like crazy outside. Yeah, so yet again, we got Coin Telegraph. Oh my God, it's people eyeing the CME gap. I don't know. I don't view CME as such a big factor. I think like in terms of the market, like I think CME is a good. It's like it's got a large bark, and people think that the bark is important. But if you look at the volume traded on CME futures, it's nowhere near like BitMEX. It's crazy, but you know that's just the way it is, right? Yeah, there's not too much going on, you know. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Why Yearn deployed yETH vaults. So yet again, the trend right now is to make use of our currencies, right? So if you have cryptocurrencies, put them to use, get some yield back. And right now, yETH. So if you basically deposit ETH, you can create this yETH in vaults, and the supposed rate is around 60 to 100% APY. So it's yet again, it's very, very crazy. And they deposited people deposited $140 million of ETH into it. So huge demand for that. Huge demand. But anyways, guys, that's kind of the case we are now. Like the DeFi brought over yield farming. It brought a way to monetize ETH that's been kept there. So instead of just hodling it, you can put it to good use. But at the same time, there's risk associated with it. We're still in such early phases. That means the yields are ridiculously high, but at the same time, there's a ridiculous amount of risk too associated. And that's kind of the current market right now. And yet again, you know, love it, hate it. That's just the way it is. All right, there's so many people chatting about Shroom. I think let's go take a ban on it. Let's ban that Shrooms for a while. You know, we already said hi to it. Obviously, some people will check it out, but let's close that discussion for now. And we'll be a lot more aggressive. I mean, I've taken a policy on the Telegram group to ban people who are like excessively pushing a project without declaring where they got in. I think that's very, very important right now to have a clean discussion where you share information. On that note as well, we will open up the Telegram chat group on Monday. So we'll open that up on Monday so we can all join. But recently, because that's a closed discussion group, I actually find that the quality of discussion is much higher. And we'll try to do that also on this channel as well. Like if there's an excessive amount of push for a certain project, we'll just ban it outright. Just be reasonable in terms of how much you want to talk about it and talk about it in a reasonable fashion. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. I think like having a high quality discussion is super important in crypto. I've been trying to get into every single group possible, whether it is Karma DAO, whether it's Duck DAO, whether it is DeFi Omega. There's so many chat groups. There's Lobsters as well. Lobsters is a really great chat, by the way. If you guys want to get into Lobsters, just find me and I'll get you into Lobsters. It's free. But getting good discussion is extremely important, because at the end of the day, you know, you want to know the quality of the discussion. So anyways, not to shit on you guys here. I'm trying to make my best group as well, the Box Money Nation, obviously. But we're trying to improve the quality of discussion, and I'm really, really appreciative and thankful of everyone in the Telegram chat as well. And we'll open that on Monday. So we've been trying to reduce the amount of time the group is open, so then we have higher quality discussions there. Anyways, that's pretty much for today, guys. What did he say about DFT? I didn't say anything about DFT. Michael Liu says, wow. Michael says, no to Shrooms and everyone stops. I think we didn't, like, we gave enough. We looked at it. Obviously, it's going to take a lot more time to do the contract diff and everything. So I think that was good that we stopped. So anyways, that's great. Dave Locke says, are you holding sushi? I say yes. I'm still holding some sushi. I'm still farming sushi. Oh, shit. Oh shit. I forgot about sushi. Yes, sushi I'm also farming too. I'm actually farming sushi with my obscure coins. So I have Ample Chick, Spatosaurus, Unami Squid, Donald Die, Synthetic Snake, Ava Boar, Wifey Whale. I'm farming sushi too. In fact, I've been farming quite a lot of sushi. So that's great. Arif says, if real box Michael scams me, should I contact a fake box mining? You should, absolutely. Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's a hilarious comment. Cheers, mate. I think I'll try sushi mining today. Or Y curve. So sushi mining, I think the yields have dropped a lot. Yeah, back in the day, this would be like 3,000%, right? But nowadays it's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Stuff's gonna happen though, hopefully. But anyways, we'll see. Michael Luton says, sidetrack, is Hotbit exchange safe to be used? I actually have an account on Hotbit. Is it safe? I don't think any exchange is safe. I mean, I've been scammed by Mt. Gox before. That was meant to be the most legitimate one. So I try not to keep as much money on exchanges as possible, which is why actually yield farming surprisingly works a little bit for me. But also, not your keys, not your crypto, guys. That's pretty much it. BJJ says, are you buying anything during the dip? Yes, I'm actually looking at it. Like I said, I think there's a few sales going on. That's pretty good. I'm going to probably re-strengthen my position. Just off the top of my bat, I still haven't bought anything yet. I woke up today. So the story is I woke up today and I'm like, okay, I woke up late. I got to do this episode. I haven't bought anything yet. It's great. And also we're still dipping too, right? So the one that I actually did buy is MTA. Just most likely because I feel like it could have just this rumor that it's going to be listed on Binance, right? So anyways, it's buying a rumor. But anyways, that's the only one I bought. So I bought some at around 6 and also 7. So I'm currently in a losing position right now. That's just the honest truth. We'll have to see what happens if it does move up in that time, but I was a little bit too early pulling the trigger there, clearly. Now I'm looking at the dip. I'm saying, look, maybe we'll have to see if the shakeout's complete. Something that happened in 2017 is that if there is a shakeout, some shakeouts are very strong. So I'm just trying to see when we move up again, when the momentum gets up, and then that's when I'll probably enter. So just a confirmation that the dip is over. I'm not sure, like, catching knives are very, very difficult. So everyone's like, oh, buy the dip. But buy the dip is something that's easier said than done. Executing a good buy the dip is hard. And usually I'm a little bit late to buy the dip, but at the same time, I play it a little bit safer. So anyways, everyone has a different strategy. That's my strategy. I'm looking at Binance Coin again because they recently launched their smart chain network. I feel like that's interesting. I'm going to hate to say this. I'm looking at Tron just because of the recent China push and the DeFi push. That might be interesting. But Tron doesn't have a dip, so I'm not sure what a good entry position is for Tron. I was looking at Engine again. Engine dipped, I think, to 17 cents today. So that was something I'm looking at. Ren clearly as well. So Ren dropped quite a bit. And I'm actually using a lot of the Ren products, so why not? And yeah, Engine's here. Yeah, it's 16 cents. That's quite a bargain. It's not bad. But gaming is really taking it's been slow recently. So we'll have to see. There's a few friends talked about. XRT was one of them that I was looking at. That's on my radar. So XRT has a dip. Potentially look into that. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So anyways, you got Richie. He says, ew, Tron. Yeah. What are you talking about, Michael? Yeah. I feel sad. Deep inside, I feel sad. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Bevan says, where do I get a list of yield farms? One of the best tools is yieldfarmingtools.com. Farmingtools.com. That's kind of a good list. Or you can follow me on Twitter. I always post out what I get. Travis says UMA. UMA is a little bit hard for me to get into because it recently pushed up by Binance listing and Coinbase listing, right? So after these two listings, where is it going to go, right? Can it keep going up, or, is it for the exchange rumors? So yet again, thinking about it. So this is a good list of things you can check out. So just be careful if anything with the slashes. The slashes mean that they have incur impermanent loss, which is why they have higher yields, because there's a lot higher risk associated with it. So yeah, fat. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I think I covered as much as I wanted to. We got, yes, indeed. Smoke some weed, Mike. You'll feel better. It's illegal here, Hong Kong. That's the only sad part. But anyways, that's pretty much it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I'm pretty tired, as you guys can see. I'm probably going to get a nap this afternoon. That'll be great. Put in a nap this weekend, get some time out. Like, that was something I was dreaming of for the past 2 weeks, right? Going out, getting some rest. I mean, with Bitcoin and crypto so low, you know, sales season, you know, watch for some sales. It'd be good. And we got Chloe Brazil says maybe some UTK, Michael. I'm actually got a lot of UTK, got a lot of exposure there. So I actually want to see if, I'm not sure if I want to increase exposure, but I think it would be interesting too. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later. Thank you. Please smash up the likes as well. We got 1,000 people something watching today. So please do smash up the likes. We shall see each other again. Oh, by the way, live streams are on Monday and on Friday. These are the set ones. So I'm gonna make the one from Monday so you guys can all tune into that. By the way, these live streams are doing pretty well, so thank you guys so much for that support. We're reaching 1,000 people, so that really gives me a lot of confidence. I mean, back in the bull run, we were around like 2,000, 2,500, but we're almost nearing there. So that's actually very, very interesting. We've been growing phenomenally. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. I really love chatting with you guys, and it's been pretty amazing. So big thank you for that whole community there. We'll do some more cool stuff next week. I'm just super tired this week, but that's good, right? That's good when you do a lot of work and you're tired, and you know, that's great. So check out the live stream. I put that up already. So that's the next one for Mondays. Let's put that up. Share this. Get a shareable link for this. Put that here, and we shall see each other on Monday. So that's the Monday live stream. I'll put that here, guys. Boom. You can schedule that. Set a reminder. Like it as well. All right, thanks for that, guys. And also check out the podcast, Bitcoin Out of the Box. We'll see you guys next week. Maybe stream this weekend.